to LARP for other purposes. Let's call it larpification. Today we're talking with Anna Westerling.
Hello!
Hi, and welcome to this channel where we are serious about play and games. I'm John, and I'm here at the Prologue Gaming Convention. And I'm here with Anna Westerling. And she's one of the best in Sweden on using LARP in professional situations. So maybe something we could call larpification, playing on the word gamification, of course. So Anna, the first and kind of really hard question, what is your passion?
Well, my passion is LARP. I've been LARPing since I was 14. And for the last years I've been doing events as a business. My business is doing events where I'm inspired by LARP. And I would say my passion is to design with people. Like when I was little, I wanted to be an architect. But instead, I think I'm the same, but I'm like a people architect. I design events on how to make it fun or whatever purpose you have with your event and experience emotions.
I think to some extent this is what I call activity design. So you're designing, or second order design. So you're designing not the thing in itself, you're designing so that people can use the thing in a way that you decide how they should use it. Because you are interested in what people do or how people experience something that you build.
Yes, or I design events, so customers will typically come to me and be a bit like, we want something LARPy, or we want something interactive, and we want to reach maybe young people. And I'm like, okay, so what do you want to achieve? What's your purpose? And what's your budgets? What's your frames? And then I do some kind of event.
But from a lot of previous discussions that we had, I heard that, from my understanding, people don't really know what they are asking for.
No.
They come to you and say, we heard about this LARP thing, we want something LARPish, it seems like this is what we need.
Yeah.
How do you find what they actually are asking for?
So that comes down to the purpose. What do you want to achieve? It's really nice that you want to do something LARPy or interactive or whatever, but what do you want to achieve? And typically I would say reaching new target groups. It's a one, or maybe do something with do something unusual, and then you have to poke around a bit and what's unusual to you and what's this, or develop something new and try something new. So then I will try to design something.
So a lot of it is about kind of asking people what they are actually and kind of being a bit of a detective.
Yeah, or doing a method for that, figuring out how their organization works.
And that ties into my follow-up question, where do your ideas come from? And I mean, your ideas are maybe not only your ideas, where your ideas are so dependent on what other people want, since it's your job.
And usually I work very closely, because I usually work with communications departments. So they also have a vision so we talk together. And since this is often maybe not the biggest budget projects, it's so what do you have, what resources do we have in that we can use, and how, so we cooperate together. And then my ideas, I don't know, I try to, when I'm for example at Prologue, I try here to snatch up different ideas and what could be fun. And I think I since I come from a LARP environment, or where you create together, I try to do ideas where you have gift economy. So if they can give something nice to give people will give something nice, and this will be noticeable, so you can get the social media spin on it. Yeah, okay.
This kind of ties into a couple of previous interviews I had, where ideas are not this kind of magical thing that just appears. It's something that you actually work with. Do you agree on that?
Yes, it's I feel I want to be around and you have to go to these type of things. I love going to conferences because I'm okay, so how did you do to other people's events? What's the design here? How do they solve this and how do they solve that? And I think that's super important. And then you have this, it's like building blocks. And then when you have your own thing, you're okay, this was fun from here and this was fun from here. And of course I have a few okay, this usually works, and okay. Yeah.
I know this also means that LARP is in a way both your job and your spare time activity.
Yeah, and also since a lot of my job is Yeah, we want people in costume in one way or another. Like, I recruit my friends for this, so of course it's together.
Yeah.
And it ties together, like, I would say stuff that we try on LARPs is also stuff that I go into my business. Like, I did a LARP, I think 12 years ago, when I did a nice evening the first time. We work a lot with group dynamics.
A nice evening is short for a nice evening with a family, and it's a LARP about using manuscripts from classical plays and turn them into an interactive drama.
Yes.
Because, as I told you before, Swedish LARP is not about rubber swords and fireballs. It's much more about drama and feeling.
Yeah. And then what we did there was I learned a lot about working with group processes. How do we work together in groups, like using post-its, which is a quite common management method. But like at that time, which was 2007, I kind of learned it, and now it's one of my daily tools. Like stuff like that you pick up, how to lead a group, how to do this, and like, so that's...
But do you separate between your work activities and your spare time activities?
Well, I guess it was how... I don't do them exactly at the same time, but of course if you sit at home and answer email, it's a bit of everything in a mishmash. And since I think I try to explain my jobs to some people, I have one job where I'm employed, I have my own company where I'm of course employed by myself, and then I have my associations where I do my LARPs, and then I do a few things as myself. So of course this is a little mishmash, and I guess if you grew up at some point you should try to structure things and have time off, and I don't know, but that's
I think this is something
challenge.
I see with a lot of people that do these kind of things. We don't separate. I mean, I'm the same. We don't separate between spare time and work time because it's so hard to do, because well, we're basically creating the same thing in both instances. Sometimes we get paid and sometimes we do it just because it's fun.
And at some point I will try to this should be spare time things. I do some dancing that I try to keep on spare time account.
Why do you create? This is a philosophical question.
Oh my god. Yeah, I realized I'm very much a producer, so I'm like do. But why do I?
But I think
create?
that's interesting as well. You are a producer, and I think that's the thing. That's one of the things that's really interesting with what you are doing. You are doing a lot of things, and kind of to actually make them is in a way your expression.
Yeah, I think so. And why am I creative? I don't know. Why do I create? Because it's fun, I would say. Like it's you want to change the world a little. And I would say a lot of the LARPs I create are in a reaction to what happens in the LARP scene, where I try to do LARPs with more emotions, feelings, love, and instead of all this violence and negativity, I want to do LARPs around stuff that relationships, family, instead of big countries, but very small. So that's, I think, is the driving force there, to very kind of kitchen sink LARPing in a way. But then in when I do out as my business, I think I want to make the world a more beautiful place. I want to make better parties, funnier things. I love costume things where people get to dress up and make the world more playful, even for adults in a way. So we're not only... The adult world, as I see it, can be so extremely boring. You're supposed to wear black and be serious all the time. But you get to dress up, you get to do things, and you get to be participatory. And it's not only we want you to shut up and sit in a chair while we do our great art, but you get to be part of it and do fun things. You design it so everyone is in on it in some way, and so I think that's also important, maybe democratic. So that's some kind of driving force, that I want to make people play and have fun.
And Anna, if people get interested in your work from watching this, where can I find you?
Yeah, I should look at. They can find me at westerling.org. That's westerling.org.
I'll link it below as well. And the LARP we talked about, A Nice Evening with a Family, is available as well, I guess.
Yeah, aniceevening.se.
And if you like this, of course there's more of these videos. I'm gonna link one over, I guess I have some spot over here. So go check another one out, and if you liked it a lot, then please subscribe. So thank you, and I see you in the next one. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.